Good morning. Today is a very, very exciting day. I'm going to go do a little creative co-working with my friend. She is an artist. She is a painter. And so I'm really excited to be in her house. I'm going to go to her house, and while she paints, I'm going to write. It's going to be so much fun. We just got back from the gym. We are making breakfast. Say hi, babe.
Hi, babe.
Making our breakfast. I'm packing a lunch to take with me. I'm gonna shower, get ready, and head over. Just like creative today. I'm so excited for this.
Me too.
We were at dinner, I don't know, like 2-3 weeks ago, and I was like, what do you do? What is your schedule like? How do you like get creative? And then I was like, can I just come sit with you? Because I really think that your creative vibes are gonna like bring out my creative vibes. And I think we're both gonna do really good work today. So can I actually show people what you're working on?
Yeah, go
Can people see your painting? Okay, yeah. Wait, no, you come show people. Oh,
this is the painting.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is the thing that's wild. I didn't realize in the other painting that you showed me that you only literally just started painting.
Yes, yeah. So that
like
this
what?
is my fourth painting.
Did you hear that? Fourth painting. That's wild. And this one's gonna be my favorite. I'm absolutely just like dying waiting for this to be done so I can have a print of this in my house.
I'm pretty excited for this one. I have been wanting to do like a battle scene for a while. This has been a lot of fun. The smoke has been like a learning experience. This is the second time I've done like a beast dragon type situation, and every time it always takes longer than I expected to.
Oh yeah, I mean look at all the details. It's incredible.
Not even finished yet either.
It's incredible. So today, okay, so what are you gonna do today then?
Today, the plan is to do everything red. I have her cloak is red. He's got blood on him. There needs to be blood over here. And she's got like a red ribbon in her hair. So all that stuff needs to be done. Do you know that scene? This scene, when I read this book, I've read this book 3 times. I've cried, and every time I read this scene, I think the last time I read it, I cried the most. Like, I was on an airplane reading it. John actually held me for 30 minutes after reading this scene. And so I am so excited to have this print in my house, and you make it look so beautiful. She's so talented. I'll put all of her information below, too, so you guys should go buy all of her prints. All right, let's start getting vibes going. Let's do vibes. It's so good. Your bust is so much better than mine. Yeah, and she fell on my shoulder once and it fucking hurts so. One of my things that I think I struggle with this book is remembering that it's young adult. And being like, so there's supposed to be a thing that the catalyst is supposed to be something really bad that happens to your character that makes them think like life has to change. Okay. And I'm like, oh, this isn't a big enough deal. But I'm like, wait, but if I was like 12, would this be a big deal? Wait, we had to like actually escape.
Happened? Yeah.
What on earth? What kind of life did you?
I know. That's why I'm writing a book about my life. But like, if you were 12 and you read about that, would you think that's scary? Does that feel enough to be like, get your life together, Kayla, go somewhere safe?
I feel like I'd be spooked. I don't know, like, it's hard to say. I'm trying to think of my 12-year-old self.
I'm trying to decide if like something worse should happen. Like
that is what happened, but you're not sure that's enough to like motivate the character to like move on to like wherever they need to go.
Yeah.
Either a step towards it or like the cherry on top. But okay. Yeah.
Like maybe I should just add
extra
something like
dramatization. If that
can't hurt.
Yeah, in a book is never a bad thing. I feel like it can't hurt. Like it can hurt Walker because she's in the hospital. Oh, I don't know. I think my opinion would be it doesn't hurt to over dramatize.
Yeah, I can always delete it.
Yeah, extra drama in a book is always intriguing. When all the drama, especially when you think about what like Percy Jackson, like all the crap that he's going through in those books.
I know. I need to reread it.
Yeah, it's like. It's to the point where you're like, how does one person handle all of that trauma?
Bad. Yeah, I'm gonna make a note here. Hi, this is Editing Kayla. I'm obviously back home. Maybe that's not so obvious. I'm back home now. That creative co-working day with Emily was so much fun. I didn't know really what to expect. I knew that I was going to enjoy it. It was also my first time at her house, which was really awesome, but it was just really fun to be with somebody else and have somebody else to bounce ideas off of. You saw that we got to talk about like a whole section of the book. I really, really enjoyed doing it. I will be honest, it being our first time, we probably just like kind of talked for the first few hours, and then her roommate came and we talked too. So I don't think we did as much time like working and creating as I thought we would. But I still really, really enjoyed myself. I still got a lot done. I ended up writing, I think like 3,000 words. You guys saw that at the end of that, I got through almost 11,000 words, and it really helped me close out Act 1 is what I did. And so I figured this would be a really great time to kind of go over as a brand new writer what this has been like for me. I had no idea, and I kind of still have no idea about writing a book and being an author and what that takes. And I know there's so many other things that I'll still encounter that I don't know, like publishing and agents, and if I want to do it independently or with a publisher and all sorts of things like that. But there are a lot of learnings that I've gotten so far, even in the last like 4 or 5 weeks writing my first book. And so I wanted to share some of those things now. And I think one of the big things that I've really figured out is my process. And that has felt really good because I'm a very much like routine type of person. I like to know, I feel comfort knowing that if I need to do X, Y, Z, I can lean on steps 1, 2, 3 to get me there. And I found that since I don't know yet the structure to writing a book, like story structure and all of that. Like I taught writing, but I taught writing to 7 and 8 and 9-year-olds. Not the same thing as writing a 55,000 word young adult novel, right? But some of the structures I feel like are kind of the same, like show not tell, and the creativity and the imagery and making a movie in your mind is what we used to say in first grade when I taught that. And so it is different. And so I have really loved being able to lean on this book. Got this as a recommendation from my friend's mom is writing a novel, and she recommended this book. And then also I've started watching Brielle Writes on YouTube here, and she uses this a little bit too and recommended it as well. And I have found it so helpful to read the section and kind of figure out functionally what is this section supposed to be about? Like, what am I accomplishing in this section? And then because this is my life story, I already have the events. Like unlike other things that I've thought of or watched other writers do or on AuthorTube and stuff, they're kind of like making stuff up. I'm like, okay, so this real event in my life would go here then. And I kind of just like moving events in my life. And some of them I am taking the artistic liberty, and you saw in the conversation, to make them seem even more intense just for the drama of the book and to make the book and the reader feel something even more than it might have felt in my life. This book, I'm planning for it to be a trilogy. And so I want those emotions to be stronger because it's going to be going through 3 books, where for me, this is like literally 8 years of life condensed. And so that dramatization, I think, will be really helpful. But my process of saying, okay, functionally, what am I going to get done? And then what I think is so powerful is after I read the Save the Cat, I'm then writing in my notebook. I think very differently when I'm putting pen to paper. And I'm really proud of myself for respecting that. While even though it feels like a slower process to take the time to write my ideas out by hand, I do feel like it really helps my brain come up with the ideas and see the ideas and feel the ideas and breathe life into the ideas and make them like deeper and more sensory and different things like that. And then after I do the paper and the pen, that's when I go and write it on my laptop. And I have found that that has been a really great sequence for me. Is like, okay, what am I going to do? Brainstorm it on paper, pen, figure out the events that go on my timeline, paper, pen it all out, and then go in and type it. And that's where I'm restructuring, getting more detailed. So it's almost like vision, first draft ideas, brainstorm, write for every single part. So that's been really awesome. Something else I've realized though, finishing out Act 1 of my first draft is, and I was just on a call with some friends before this, and they were like, tell us about your book. And, I said, I'm at 11,000 words, and they're all like, oh my God, amazing. And I'm like, is that amazing? Like, I have no fucking idea. I don't know the expectations. This being the first time, I'm really just here for the ride. When I was running and a lot of like coaching and stuff that I do, because y'all know that I don't know if you know, but if you're new here, I am a coach. Also, that's what I do is like my day job. I have my own business as a coach. But one of the things that I think is so valuable is, as grownups, we don't get very many firsts ever. And one of the things, like when I was running, and I would always tell first time runners, like, if this is your first ever race, if this is your first ever half marathon or marathon, don't go into it with a time goal, because this is the only time you will not have something to compare it to. It's the only time that you just get to absorb the feelings. And so while I'm not like trying to do 500 words a day or 1,500 words every time I write, which apparently I've heard that like for beginning writers, that Brandon Sanderson and a lot of people don't recommend more than 500 words a day. But every time I've sat down to write, I've pumped out 1,000 to 3,000 words. And to me, I don't know what that means, because I also really believe that how we do our art and our production is really individual. And this could either be because that's my pace, or it could be because I'm only writing once a week right now, because I'm also doing my other full-time job and content creating in a bunch of different ways for my other full-time job, because I get most of my clients for coaching and for my coaching programs through Instagram. So that is like a big deal and thing that I'm doing. And so it's really interesting to me to create expectations, because while I don't have the expectations, and that's good because it's not giving me this comparison and this rush and taking the fun out of it, I'm also realizing that without like an idea of an expectation, I'm also not like being proud of myself and celebrating myself. And I don't need expectations or a certain word number or something to celebrate myself, but it made me aware that I'm not. And so I really want to do that more. I celebrated the very beginning very, very hard, but it's like, I want to celebrate getting through every like quote unquote beat from Save the Cat. Like, I want to celebrate finishing Act 1. And I want to be more aware of that and to have more of a feeling of pride, because also, since I don't know what's good, I don't know whether I should feel proud. And again, I get to just choose to be proud. And so it's created an awareness in me that I should be. So I'm officially saying I am proud that I have completed Act 1 and I get to start Act 2 this week. I cannot wait to get back to writing. The next thing, speaking of the job that I do, is like figuring this out in my schedule. What works best for me? Like, do I like to write in the morning? Do I like to work in the evening? It's been bizarre how that has not been consistent, which is not the norm for me. Normally my brain functions so well first thing in the morning, but I think I've found that writing has worked best for me in the like 11 to literally like 7 p.m. time frame, which is wild. I don't do anything Like, I don't like to use my brain after 4 if I don't have to usually. So it's been a real experience to decide how my schedule will be and what I think I want this to feel like. The thing that has been, I think, most difficult is when I first started this, all I wanted to do was write. But I do have a full-time job and business that I run, and I'm trying to really balance that. I've gotten a lot of coaching on if I go and pursue this gift of mine of becoming a writer and an author, it's the universe is still going to provide for me and it's not going to take away from the money I make. But that doesn't mean that that fear doesn't live there. Like, okay, well, if I'm taking 2 days of time away from doing that, how will I get more clients, right? So of course that pops into my brain. So that's something. So right now, all my coaching calls are on 2 days out of the week, and I just shifted them to Tuesday, Wednesday, which means that basically any day that I wake up, well, I guess let me go back. My coaching calls are 2 days a week, and I don't put calls on my calendar till after 1 p.m. my time. So the windows are 1 to 5 for calls specifically. And then in the morning is when I do admin stuff. It's when I have that flexibility to get my workout in. So really any day of the week that I feel motivated to write, I can. As long as on those coaching call days where I have like coaching business, I'm done. And what I do find though is like my brain does not like to go from writing creatively to coaching. And so I really think that I probably just won't take the opportunity to write on a Tuesday or a Wednesday because of my coaching calls. But that does leave me Monday, Thursday, and Friday to write if I want to keep it like a job. But right now I'm not. Like if I want to write on a Saturday, I'm just communicating with my partner and then I'm going and doing it because that we both are working on being creatives and being in that. And he makes music. He's an artist and a musician. That's something that I'm working out. And so right now I'm going to take my calls 2 days out of the week. That doesn't mean I'm not doing content to promote my coaching those other days. But what I really want is I want to still be able to follow my inspiration, which I've been practicing. If I wake up and I'm like, ooh, today I feel like I want to make content for coaching, then I'm going to do that. If I wake up and I'm like, oh, today feels like writing, like right now I can feel the writing feeling in my body. So I know on Thursday and Friday, that's probably what I'm going to do because what's today? I have a coaching call tomorrow. Let me look at my schedule. Yeah, my coaching call schedule hasn't like changed, but tomorrow I might be able to write in the morning because the calls that are in the evening aren't as like intense, but we'll see. So you can see right there, like I have to try to balance this and that it's not the easiest thing to balance being this artist with being a coach. And I'm trying to see it as my whole identity and just build off the inspiration and follow my inspiration where it goes. And I also want to hold myself accountable. So I do want to write every single week. So let's say I wake up and I don't feel inspired. If Saturday rolls around and I haven't written yet, I'm going to be like, okay, you're going to sit down and write at least 500 words. Like it doesn't matter if I delete them and take them out. I want to also have like that dedication because I think that's another thing that will also make me feel proud and feel like I like to have a process to follow. It makes me feel proud of myself. It feels really good to be on the journey. And so I really believe in momentum. And so I don't want to allow that to kind of go away. Really, if I could write 1 to 2 days a week right now, ideally more in the future, and then do coaching stuff like 2 days for calls and then content for both of those things. One thing that I didn't really think about as I went into this that I've really learned is how this has changed my identity and who I feel like as a person. I was not expecting that at all. Like I thought I would just still be me. But in order to tell my story, I've had to become so much more confident and comfortable about my story and about who I am in order to put it in there. And I've also had to add this identity of creative and artist to who I am. And I never imagined that for me. I've always believed that I was creative because I live with a musician and somebody who's like graphically, like visually creative. I didn't see myself as one. I never labeled myself as one. And he has always told me, and I've always believed inside, like I'm creative with my words and like my thoughts and things like that. That's my art. But now I'm standing in that so much more and it feels so good. And I really feel like it's helped me see myself and believe in myself, even in my coaching, even more. I do think that when I first started writing, I was like, oh, wait. And I got so excited that I kind of pulled away from coach. And then I was just like, do I not want coaching to be my identity? And I think it's really important that when those questions come up, that we take the time to actually think through the answer, because there are a lot of times where we just continue on a path without really thinking about it. But I do. I do want to stay being a coach. So I thought about it. I was like, I could just stop coaching and figure out another way to make money, right? But I do really love it. And I also really, really, really love working with people. I don't think that I could just write all the time unless I got lots of time with other people. And I'm an educator. I love to share knowledge, help people understand, help people learn. So I don't know that I could ever give that up, but it's really added this piece to my identity that's felt really good. One of the things that really helped me with that was this book by Amy McNee. Let me grab it. I just keep books everywhere. This book, We Need Your Art. I actually went on the day that this book came out and watched Amy talk about it. And it was really, really life-changing. Is that too big to say for me? Because it's hearing her talk about art and hearing all the different things that are considered art helped me to make that change, to see myself as an artist, helped me to make that change, to see myself as a creative. And I've always believed, like I coach a lot of creatives and I really believe in the power of people's creativity being in the world, but I've always seen it as something I helped other people do versus something that I need to do. And so this book was so valuable for that for me. I feel like if you are struggling with creating your art or seeing yourself as a creative or giving yourself permission, this book, which is a big fat permission slip for me to do this. And that feels really great. And so all of those learnings have felt really, really awesome. And that doesn't mean that there haven't been like not awesome things that I've also felt. One of the things that I felt is a little bit of doubt. Like I think about, am I a good writer? Like I said, like I'm not trained in any way. I have no background, no experience. I used to call myself a bad writer. And so there's doubt there. There's doubt of, is what I'm making even good? And then I look at it and I read it and I'm like, wait, this is really awesome. And this is also only a first draft. And you can only get better from here, very, very literally. But I think about like what happens when I have, like a beta reader read this, and what if they just tear it apart and there's just like big red X's on every page? And that doubt and that fear goes in. But also there's no point in entertaining those thoughts. Yes, I have compassion. Yes, I tell myself that's a human emotion. And there's literally no point in me believing it because I don't have any evidence that tells me that. I do have evidence that people love the idea. I do have evidence that people are excited about the book. I love the idea. It's my life. It's a great story. Like I believe that, and it's helped me. And when I tell people about my life story, it's helped them and given them perspective. So how could this not? And I can make a lot of evidence. If I wanted to, I can make evidence either way, I'm sure, but it only serves me to make positive evidence. So that's what I spend my time doing if doubt comes in. And then the other thing that I have seen that when I first started writing, I wasn't afraid of this. But as I've written, I've become afraid of it a little bit this book is my life. And my therapist told me in 2013, that I had a traumatic childhood. And it wasn't like I was living alone in a silo, just myself. Like there are family members. There's a dad, a mom, and I am one of 6 siblings. And so there are a lot of other people who are involved in a lot of these events who might feel differently about them, who might perceive them differently, who might have perceived their role in those events differently than I did. And there is fear that someone in my family might read the book. Now, I'm going to say I'm not close with anybody in my family. So the chance, like nobody even knows I'm writing a book, but I do have one sister who's on social media and she does follow me and we do talk periodically. And I do text my mom periodically. I don't think my mom's ever going to find out about this unless my sister tells her. I do have a fear that my sister is going to see something and be offended and take it the wrong way or be like, that's not the way it was, because I do think it's very possible that one event can happen and I can see it one way in my perspective, in my view, with my story and my eyes and my lens, and she would see it another. And I think there's different levels of healing in my family. So I think the reactions could be strong. And I think that that's scary. And I think this is one of those times where I have to believe that my story is more important than that. And that's hard. But all in all, I have been loving writing this. I've been loving being able to call myself an artist and an author. I've been loving learning about how to write. And I literally cannot wait to continue this, to have a full trilogy, to get this first book done, because then I'll have like kind of that process down of how I want to do it. I'm so excited to like finish writing every single beat, dive into act 2, act 3 and then do the edit. Like I can't wait to print all the pages and mark them up and then go back in and change it. Like I'm really, really excited for all of those things. And I'm praying that this energy stays. I am proud of myself for what I've done so far. And I cannot wait to continue this and to just grow in this identity. And I see myself having multiple books, talking to my book editor, talking to my book team in the future. And I'm just so excited to be on that journey right now to make that happen. And thank you for being here with me, because this has been a really surprisingly fun part, is putting this journey on YouTube and having people watch it and enjoy it and participate. So I'm actually really, really thankful for y'all too. So see you in the next episode.